G'day, I'm Grant from Motion. Today I have with me Richard from Loctite. Hi Richard.
Thanks Grant for having me.
You're welcome. So we're talking about thread locking, in particular a demonstration on how it functions.
Yeah, well, so thread lockers are really powerful in industry because they stop nuts and bolts coming loose. It is a chemical solution to a mechanical problem, and so what I wanted to do today was show you how well Loctite 243 performs, for example, our entry-level thread locker, versus your more traditional mechanical locking
Fantastic.
device.
I love a demonstration, so I'll leave it to you.
I will. So I've got here just a flat washer with a nut, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a torque value on top of that, and then I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
All right, so I've got my little trusty torque wrench.
Love a demonstration, I love a test. Okay.
Yep, got the torque wrench. So I'm starting at 0,
Yep.
then I'm going to provide a force here. I'm going to torque this up to 20 Newton meters. All right, so we've torqued it up to 20 Newton meters.
Yep.
I'm going to turn it around. I'm asking you a question now. How much force do you think is going to be required to break that loose?
Well, you'd like to think 20 Newton meters, I suppose.
Okay, right, so let's do the demonstration. Put the torque wrench on, we crack it, and we can see that it is 12 Newton meters.
Wow.
So 10, 11, 12 Newton meters.
So now we know and understand why wheels are rolling down the road.
Absolutely, yep. So it's not considered a mechanical locking device, so a flat washer is not a mechanical locking device. So let's throw a mechanical locking device in there and then do the testing.
So do I pass the first one? Or?
Yes,
I'll get access.
yep.
No
So
pressure.
12.
All right, okay.
So we'll put it in a spring washer.
Yep.
Mechanical locking device, probably the most common one on the planet. How many times can I use these, Grant?
Oh, on a couple.
Absolutely not. It's a one-time use. People will use them all the time. They'll use them over and over, but you're going to be losing the actual reason that you have a mechanical locking device in there. So we put a spring washer in there, world's most common mechanical locking device, and then we're going to provide or apply another torque. So we're going to do the exact same thing. So starting at 0, and now I've got a mechanical locking device.
You're not going to catch me the second time.
Well,
The last time it was 20 and 12. We'll see how we go this time.
let's see how we go. All right, so moving this bolt out of the way. So just make sure I don't rip it off the desk with all the force I'm applying. So 20 Newton meters.
Wow, okay.
Now I'm going to ask the same question. So I'll reverse the torque wrench around. If I've applied 20 Newton meters now and I've got a mechanical locking device, how much force is going to be required?
The difference here, I'm going to go for, say, 16.
Rightio. So you've gone slightly lower than the amount of force required to actually do it up, but a little bit more than what you said before. Okay. So we undo it, and guess what? It's about the same, 12 Newton meters.
Wow.
Yeah. Now it's going to bite in because the purpose of a spring washer is that we want to bite into softer metals. So you can see that it's got a little bit of prevailing torque, but the problem is that we've already lost the clamp load. So the assemblies become compromised, right? So we can do the exact same thing again with a nylon ring nut. So we'll torque it up to 20 Newton meters and then we break it. How much force do you think would be required to undo that one?
Oh, well, let's go 18 Newton meters.
And you're spot on.
I'm learning, see, I'm listening.
Yeah, so flat washer, torqued it up to 20 Newton meters and we broke it at 12. Spring washer, torqued it up to 20 Newton meters and we broke it at 12. The nylon ring nut, it actually breaks at about 14. And the reason is because that nylon ring is producing more friction. So we know how important friction is for the holding power. So what we do is we now compare a chemical thread locker. So this is a pre-cured Loctite 243. We're going to put it straight in there. We're going to pretend that we've torqued it up to 20 Newton meters so we can go backwards, even though we haven't. It's just free spinning. So there's no pre-torque applied.
Right.
We've just put that on there, let the 243 cure, and then we're going to try and break it. Okay? So we make it out that we've torqued it up to 20 Newton meters. And we're always going to know what the break loose torque is because that's provided in our technical data sheets. But we'll put our torque wrench on here and we undo it. So it's a quarter of a turn. So we're at about 24, 25 Newton meters.
There you go.
Okay. Now what I've also got, so I've lost clamp load and I've broken the seal, but I've got a prevailing torque value, which means that it's still holding. It's still giving me about 5 Newton meters as I turn it.
Look at that, yeah.
So I'll do a full rotation. Full rotation. Okay. And remember, there was no pre-torque applied, but see if you can get that off with your fingers.
Shouldn't be hit too hard. Maybe it is.
Yeah, and what you can see,
are we?
what you can see as well is we're shearing the polymers, so we're actually ripping and tearing the thermoset plastic in between 243, I can remove it with hand tools, but it's providing all that full locking strength. So versus mechanical locking devices, it outperforms those products every single time.
Spectacular.
And so what I wanted to mention as well, Grant, is that mechanical locking devices, while they may provide some locking strength, they will never ever actually seal the threads in between. So corrosion can form in those mechanical ones, whereas when you use a chemical thread locker, it will flow, it'll fill the gap, and it won't allow moisture to get in and corrosion to start happening.
So it enables you to be able to continue to work, I suppose, with the thread and the nut over a period of time.
Absolutely. Put it out in operation. You can put it out in the middle of a field. It can rain, moisture, corrosion will never form between the threads, which means 2 years' time I come, I know what's going to be required together.
I can only imagine the number of applications that's important for. So, look, the innovations are really fantastic with Loctite. So if you'd like to know a little bit more about this particular example of Loctite Threadlocker, reach out to any one of our stores nationally.